dismissed. The audience may be seated. I would like to welcome you to Troop 68 Eagle Court of Honor. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Craig Vilguth, who is the chairman of this Court of Honor.
Good afternoon and welcome. It's my privilege also to welcome each of you and declare this Eagle Court of Honor officially open. I'd like to ask Reverend Kevin Bourne to come forward now. He's pastor of First Lutheran Church in Sauk Center, the OJ's home church, to give our invocation. Reverend Bourne.
Let us pray. Lord God, Heavenly Father, we are bound to thank you for all things. Today, especially, we thank you for the Boy Scouts of America and for other similar organizations that exist to serve young people, to help them become responsible adults. We thank you also for young people like Brent Oja who participate in these organizations, who through their participation discover and maximize their gifts and talents to the end that they become the best people they can be to your glory. Hear us for your mercy's sake. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Bourne. Those of you that may have had some advance notice on today's program may have heard of Brent's tall, blonde, and articulate uncle that was to be here, to be the master of ceremonies. Unfortunately, Uncle Brian had some medical problems and was hospitalized earlier this week. Fortunately, he's on the mend, but he was not able to join us today. So Brian Olmsted here certainly in spirit, but not able to be here physically as master of ceremonies. Brent, the trail to the accomplishment of being an Eagle Scout is certainly not an easy one, and we know that you were not alone. Many people were a part of your journey, guiding you each step of the way. Parents, family, church, scout master, fellow scouts, merit badge counselors, teachers, friends, and community members, many of which we have here today, but certainly too numerous even to mention, helped and supported you. And today we are fortunate to have many of those with us, and right now 4 speakers, each representing a facet of your support. The first speaker will be Mrs. Mary Linneman from the Melrose Area Public Schools and Brent's 3rd grade teacher. Mrs. Linneman.
I was Brent's teacher in 3rd grade. We were in the basement of that old K-7 school where they filled in the music room and made a classroom there. We were hoping the bond issue would finally be passed, so that year was one of anticipation. It may seem like a long time ago to Brent, it seems like just yesterday to me when he was little. He was just a Cub Scout in those years. Brent has always been filled with curiosity and a thirst for knowledge that teachers just love to see. His math skills were excellent, especially when it came to sports statistics. I may have agreed with much of what he told me, however, I wasn't sure of what or who many times he was talking about. When he was in 3rd grade, Brent was a real whiz at a small calculator game called the Little Professor. So it's fitting that a certain prominent citizen of Melrose would nickname Brent the Little Professor. And many teachers since then have found it also fitting. He had an interest in science that I could always count on him answering a question, or at least having a clue as to what I was trying to tell the class. There were no explosions that year. The only one was when we took the volcanoes out and used a little baking soda and vinegar on the sidewalk. Being helpful is very important to a Boy Scout. The computers in our room had a tendency to break down, freeze up, whatever, they wouldn't work. Brent was always there to help getting the computer working again. In May of that year, we had great difficulty running our programs, and despite all Brent's efforts, we never seemed to get them going properly. Over the summer, Daryl Hendrickson, the high school teacher, was able to find the problem. The language had been switched to British English. Now, since this is not an easy thing to do and requires punching many keys, we surmise that Brent may have had early global aspirations. As a neighbor, I've seen Brent grow up in our backyard, from the first tentative moments after his heart operation as a baby to a later surgery, through the problems he suffered with his feet, having them both broken after third grade to straighten them out. I'll never forget the advice he gave our son before undergoing an operation. It hurts. Both of them spent time in a wheelchair and know firsthand the pleasure of being able to now run across a football field. Brent has traveled a lot, and I hope he keeps his inquisitive nature and keeps a lifelong thirst for knowledge that he has shown so far. It may bring him to have a need for that British English after all. I'd like to conclude with the following poem by Deanna Bezer. Teachers always like to give a little advice. Your life is a journey, make it a wonderful adventure. Let your life be an exploration. Let people and places be part of your life, and experience each and every unique situation with a sense of wonder and delight. Look in all directions to seek out the answers you long to know. Discover the secrets that keep questioning your heart, and be willing to make changes and be ready to face the challenges. Accept the opportunities that present themselves and endure and cope with the difficulties that arise from time to time. Remember, there's no one way to live your life, but 1,000 different ways for each of us to be. Make your life the way you want it to be. Create a life that brings you happiness. Search for your true meaning in life by devoting yourself to your ideals, and enjoy your wonderful adventures through time by making every day special.
Thank you. Next will be Mr. Stephen Borkendine, Scoutmaster of Troop 68.
One thing that's been a tradition at our Eagle Court of Honors is just to read real quickly the little thing that's in the program that explains a little bit about Brent and his scouting career. Brent Daryl Oja was born on April 8, 1983. He was born at the St. Cloud Hospital, and Brent has one younger sister, Kelsey, and his mom and dad, Daryl and Nancy, and his family. Brent attends the Melrose Public School District 740 and will be entering the 10th grade this fall. He has always been an active member of Scouting, whether it was Tiger Cubs in the first grade, Cub Scouts in grades 2 through 4, actually for 5 because it also included Webelos, or Boy Scouts from the 5th grade on. As a Webelo Scout, Brent earned the Arrow Blight, which is the highest award that can be earned by a Cub Scout. In February of 1995, Brent became a Boy Scout by joining Boy Scout Troop 68. During his years in Troop 68, Brent has been an active leader in Scouting. He has held many positions including Senior Patrol Leader, Quartermaster, Troop Guide, Chaplain's Aide, and Assistant Patrol Leader. Brent has enjoyed many activities throughout his Scouting career. Some of them that stand out, of course, are spelunking, rock climbing, camping at Wachimagumi, and the activity that stands out most for Brent is completing a 70-mile trek through the beautiful Philmont Scout Ranch. Brent has earned 23 merit badges in his years with the troop, and he has worked very hard at completing his Eagle Scout Award. As a Scout, Brent has participated in many camping activities. He has been to Many Point Scout Camp twice, once with Troop 68 and once with another troop that his cousin belongs to. And Brent has also been winter camping and has gone to a week-long training session for junior leaders. Brent has many other interests than Scouting. He has been very active in school, competes in football, basketball, golf, and speech. Brent is involved in band and in the Target program. He is also a member of the church youth group, and his main highlight of that was when he went to St. Louis for a week with the youth group. Brent is a typical Scout when it comes to Eagle Scouts. As you've just heard, Scouting is not the only thing he's ever been interested in. He has a lot of interest, and you'll find that with a lot of Eagle Scouts. They don't just sit on their rear ends and do nothing, or play video games all day, or watch TV when they're at home. They're active in their community. They're active in their school. They're active in their church. Like we said before, Brent became a Boy Scout in February of '95. The first of the ranks, which is tenderfoot, he earned just a few months later, in September. And a few months after that, he was halfway to Eagle already by earning his first class. He was approved for his Eagle rank this past spring by the National BSA office. Like I said, Brent is a busy guy. And sometimes things get put off a little bit because he's so busy. He's got too many things going on, it seems, once in a while. But everybody who knows Brent knows he's fun to be around. In fact, when you think of the Scout Law and you think of Brent, there's probably 2 points that really stand out with Brent. One is friendly. I don't think I've ever seen anybody Brent hasn't been a friend to. There may be a few that want to back away from him a little bit because he'd be a little ongoing once in a while, but everybody's a friend with Brent. You can't help but being friends with Brent. The second thing is cheerful. Offhand, I can't recall Brent ever being mad. Maybe disappointed a little bit, maybe a little irritated, but never mad. He almost always has a smile on his face. From the moment he gets up in the morning till the moment he goes home at night, even when he's doing something to irritate somebody else, of course, he's got a smile on his face. A couple other things that aren't in the Scout Law, but also come to mind with Brent, is enthusiasm. It's almost contagious when you're around Brent. No matter what he's doing, he spreads that enthusiasm onto others. Easygoing. Like I said, Brent doesn't get mad. Probably the last things are a couple little things that stand out in mind of Brent that even when I'm 80, 90 years old, I will always remember about Brent and his time in Scouting. First of all, campfire programs. Brent is the type who can get in front of a crowd and basically do anything to get a laugh. And he has, on several occasions. Okay. Brent has no trouble getting speaking in front of a group, and I think that's why he does fairly well in speech. And will probably do a lot in speech in the coming years here if he continues with that. We've been giving Brent a bad time lately about a couple things that are really near and dear to his heart. Several years ago, we went spelunking. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's cave exploring, where we actually go into the caves, crawl around in them, explore them out, and so forth. Brent became so obsessed with spelunking that we actually had to start making him do a little something every time he said the word spelunking. For 6 months, we heard nothing from Brent other than spelunking. Spelunk this, spelunk that. It was kind of like the Smurfs back in the old TV days, or when they were on Saturday mornings. It was always, oh, a Smurfing good time. Well, Brent, it was a spelunking good time. Another thing is Dungeons and Dragons. We couldn't get by without mentioning that with Brent. He was introduced during the game through Scouting, and even when I talked to the troop members, they pretty well unanimous we had to just mention Brent's obsession with Dungeons and Dragons. Brent has been pretty good on it. Things don't always go the way he hopes during the games, but he's been a good player, and the guys really enjoy playing with him during D&D. Brent, there's also one other thing. He was at Philmont last summer, and those of us who were at Philmont, we had a great time with Brent. We had a great time here. Philmont was fantastic this last trip. Brad Hunt couldn't make it tonight, but Brad would probably want to say just one thing to you, and for those of you who don't understand this, it's something to ask Brent later about. Okay, but on the last morning, Brent said something to Brad that we all heard when we were there, and Brent, in reply, in the same manner, I think Brad would just like to say, Brent, yeah! Good going.
Scoutmaster, thank you. Those comments for us certainly are interesting. I think for Brent, we would agree merciful. Our third speaker is Reverend Bourne, again, from Brent's home church. Thank you.
I too am honored to be here with you today. Brent, you've advanced a whole lot farther than I did when I was in Scouts. I can't say that I'm surprised to see you honored this way. In the 3 years I've known Brent, I've known him to be the kind of young man who is responsible, reliable, demonstrates remarkably cheerful, good humor in the face of adversity. It's not easy being the only Melrose kid in your grade in Sunday school and confirmation if you go to church at Sauk Center. Every time Sauk outdoes Melrose at anything, Brent suffers. And of course, on the much more frequent occasions when Melrose beats Sauk at something, Brent sort of evens out the score. But beyond that, you know, in confirmation class and Sunday school classes, at youth events, retreats, the trip to St. Louis, I have grown to know Brent as the kind of young man who upholds values that are upheld by too few people today. Values that, since they are upheld by so few people today, they aren't at all easy to uphold. Values that are common to the Christian faith and Boy Scouting both. I want to congratulate you on your achievement and tell you that I am supremely confident that similar such achievements and subsequent honors await you in the future.
Well, our fourth speaker regarding Brent's character is the Chief of Police of Melrose, John Jensen. Actually, when I reviewed the program, I thought that this was provide advance approval on Brent's becoming an Eagle Scout. He certainly agreed Brent's a character and was very pleased to speak about Brent's character. So, Chief Jensen, please come forward. I believe we may have been waiting for his arrival and perhaps not here yet. Let's hold him in abeyance and we'll move forward with the rest of the program. Brent, to earn the higher ranks in scouting, a young man has to spend a great deal of time and effort. This afternoon we are going to describe these requirements with a ceremony, a very special ceremony called lighting the Eagle Trail. I would ask to help us with that for Assistant Scoutmaster Jeff Duclos to please come forward to light the center candle.
When a boy becomes a Boy Scout, there should be instilled in him something that we call the spirit of scouting. This lighted candle represents that spirit. Because the spirit of scouting embodies the fine principles of the Scout oath and law, it becomes a shining beacon of inspiration. Alone, this light may be feeble, but when multiplied by the more than 3 million boys in scouting, it can become very powerful indeed. After a boy has entered scouting, the scout law that he has promised to obey is put into effect as the occasion may demand. And so, using the flame from the spirit of scouting, we shall light the symbols that stand for each part of this law. There are 12 parts, all important and all meaningful. Each is an important stone in building a strong character.
A scout is trustworthy. A scout tells the truth. He keeps his promises. Honesty is a part of his code of conduct. People can always depend on him. A scout is loyal. A scout is true to his family, friends, scout leaders, school, nation, and world community. A scout is helpful. A scout is concerned about other people. He willingly volunteers to help others without expecting payment or reward. A scout is friendly. A scout is a friend to all. He is a brother to other scouts. He seeks to understand others. He respects those with ideas and customs that are different from his own. A scout is courteous. A scout is polite to everyone, regardless of his age or position. He knows that good manners can make it easier for people to get along together. A scout is kind. A scout understands there is strength in being gentle. He treats others as he wants to be treated. He does not harm or kill anything without reason. A scout is obedient. A scout follows the rules of his family, school, and troop. He obeys the laws of his community and country. If he thinks these rules and laws are unfair, he tries to have them changed in an orderly manner rather than disobey them. A scout is cheerful. A scout looks for the bright side of life. He cheerfully does tasks that come his way. He tries to make others happy. A scout is thrifty. A scout works to pay his way and to help others. He saves for the future. He protects and conserves natural resources. He carefully uses time and property. A scout is brave. A scout can face danger even if he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right, even if others laugh at him or threaten him. A scout is clean. A scout keeps his body and mind fit. A scout keeps his body and mind fit and clean. He goes around with those who believe in living by these ideals. He keeps his home and community clean. A scout is reverent. A scout is reverent towards God. He is faithful in his religious duties. He respects the beliefs of others.
And finally, in the 3 points of the scout oath, he promises upon his honor to do his best to do his duty.
First, to God and his country. Second, to other people by helping others at all times. Third, to himself by keeping him physically strong, mentally weak, and morally straight.
You can now see how the light from this spirit of scouting is now beginning to grow and become brighter. Would Mark Oja and John Griffith please come forward for the lighting of the Eagle Trail?
Now, far away loomed the hazy outlines of Eagle Summit, flanked by the lesser peaks that represent Star and Light Ring. Yes, to the newcomer, they're a long way ahead, but they'll come a lot closer as this light from the spirit of scouting continues to spread. Scout begins as a tenderfoot, and so we will light the tenderfoot symbol that stands at the foot of the Eagle Trail. Once inspired by the spirit of scouting, it won't stay a tenderfoot long. Putting a few simple achievements behind him, he very shortly climbs to the rank of second-class scout. And then, even though the requirements stiffen a bit, he keeps climbing until finally comes the day when he tops the first summit along the Eagle Trail, where he receives his first-class award. Thus, we light the milestone that represents the first-class scout. But he must not stop here, because beyond this first summit, the Eagle Trail still leads on.
A broad field of merit badges awaits him. He needs but 6 to conquer the Star Scout Summit. Probably, a lot sooner than he thought possible, he finds himself standing on Star Ridge. Thus, through leadership and achievement, he conquers the first of the 3 great peaks along the Eagle Trail. Gaining the next summit, the Life Scout Peak, is not easy. Much leadership, service, and hard work has to be done in mastering 5 additional merit badges and helping other fellows. The higher the scout climbs, the smaller becomes the crowd. Yet there are no impassable barriers along the way. This Life Scout goal can be achieved, but it takes real effort. We now light the symbol of this achievement. While the rank of Life Scout is a much coveted one and deserving of extreme credit, the Eagle Trail does not end there. It still leads on and on toward the summit. Its pathway narrows and steepens considerable as it winds along narrow ledges. Mile by mile, it becomes tougher and more trying. Many things have to be done in order to conquer these last miles. And before the highest summit along the Eagle Trail can be attained, many additional merit badges are needed. Some of them pretty tough. And in the meantime, leadership and service to others is not forgotten. Only those with the greatest amount of persistence and courage are able to gain the thrill of victory that comes while looking down the long trail from the very top of the Eagle Summit. We will now light the symbol that stands for Scouting's highest rank, the Eagle Scout.
This is the voice of the Eagle. I speak for the Eagle Scouts of this council. We challenge the Scout to accept the responsibilities as well as the honor of the Eagle Scout Award. These responsibilities are as follows. An Eagle Scout is to live with honor. His honor is sacred. It is the foundation of all character. An Eagle Scout will live so that he reflects credit upon his home, church, school, friends, and self. May the white of your badge remind you to live with honor. An Eagle Scout is to be loyal. To thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Neither pain nor profit, pride or personal loss shall sway his loyalty. The blue on your badge is the emblem of loyalty. An Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage gives all character, force, and strength. With trust in God and faith in his fellow man, he faces each day unafraid and seeks his share of the world's work to do. Let the red of your badge remind you of courage. Finally, an Eagle Scout is service-orientated. Extend a helping hand to those who toil along the scouting trail you have completed, just as the others have aided you. The daily good turn must take on a new meaning and better the life pattern of service. Protect and defend the weak and helpless. Comfort the unfortunate and oppressed. Uphold the rights of others as well as your own. Remember, real leadership is founded upon real service. This is the voice of the Eagle.
Brent, you first took your oath of scouting almost 5 years ago over at the St. Mary's Gym. We've heard today of very numerous and significant obligations that oath implies in being an Eagle Scout. In recognition of that, I'd like you to come forward and reaffirm your Scout oath or promise.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Scoutmaster Morgany, along with Brent's parents, Nancy and Daryl, have come forward and now award the rank to Brent.
gives me great pleasure and honor to present you with the rank of Eagle Scout.
Brent, you may now escort your parents back to their seats and return to the front, please.
Oh, we have a couple other little
Oh, I'm
presentations.
sorry. I would like to introduce you now to the voice of the Eagle that we heard just a few minutes ago, Ben Kachimba, who is an Eagle Scout and will deliver the Eagle Charge.
The Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most meaningful and significant movements in this world's history. And you have been counted worthy of high rank of its membership. All who know you rejoice in your achievement. Your positions, as you well know, is one of honor and responsibility. You are a marked man. As an Eagle Scout, you have assumed a solemn obligation. As you live up to your obligations, you bring honor to yourself and your brother Scouts. When you fail, you bring down by so much the good name of all true and worthy Scouts. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow Scouts, to your community and God. America has many good things to give you, and your children after you. But these good things depend, for the most part, on the character and leadership abilities of her citizens. You are to help her in all that she needs most. She has a great past, and you are here to help her make a greater future. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with a solemn dedication. Be a leader, but only lead towards the best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the highest level of service to God and your fellow man. So live and serve, that those who know you will be inspired to the finest living. We have too many who use their strength and their brains to exploit others and to gain selfish ends. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their skills and abilities to the common good. Build America on the solid foundation of clean living, honest work, unselfish citizenship, and reverence for God. And whatever others may do, you will leave behind a record of which every scout may be proud. I would like to introduce to you Troop 68's newest Eagle Scout, Brent Oja.
Thank you, Ben. Dayton Bilgith, cousin of Brent, will now provide us.
Proud parents watch their boy where he stands, apart from his comrades tonight, as they place on his camp feather tunic a badge, an eagle, the emblem bright. It seems just a few short months have passed since he joined with the youngster next door. How proud he was then of his tenderfoot pin, as he told them the message it bore. But the years have gone as he struggled along to learn what the scout law is about. He practiced them daily, the oath and the law. Until now, he's an Eagle Scout. You may smile in your worldly old wisdom at this and say, why, it's only a pin. But I tell you, no honors he'll gain as a man will mean just as much to him. The red, white, and blue of the ribbon you see are the symbols of honor and truth. He has learned now to value these fine attributes in the glorious day of youth. And the outflinging wings of the eagle that rests on the breast of this night today are the things which will lift him above petty deeds and guide him along the right way. Yes, it's only a pin, just an Eagle Scout badge, but the heart that's beneath it beats true, and will throb to the last for the things which are good, a lesson for me and for you.
There's two people we haven't heard from at all today that have had an incredible impact, of course, most significant impact on Brent's life. And clearly without their guidance and often behind the scenes counsel, today would not be happening. And to provide us some comments from a parental perspective, I'll ask that Daryl come forward at this time.
You're in trouble now. JJ seated me his 5 minutes, and I now have the pastor out in the audience. I'd like to start with regarding the Troop 68. I think any time any one of your individual scouts or individual members obtains an honor, Eagle Scout of this nature, it's an honor for the entire troop. Speaking from my coaching background, it takes many people for a team or for any individual to have success. And when a member becomes an Eagle Scout, he did not do it all on his own. He did it by the help of his fellow scouts, the leaders of the troop, and his own efforts. But as Brent gets honored today, so is Troop 68 being honored today as well. Speaking from the family standpoint, Olmsted and Oja families are very proud of Brent. I know that there are two special people looking down on Brent today that I'm sure are very, very proud. Brent never got a chance to meet his grandfather Roy, but he did meet his grandfather Hugo, and those two were very, very close when Brent and my father had a chance to be together. And I know that they are very, very proud today, as we all are within our family. Speaking for Nancy and myself, I know that Brent thinks many times that I, as a head coach, look at people and say, well, I'm really, really proud of that athlete because he did a very good job today and he did an outstanding thing for our team and that type of thing. But I would like him to know that matter the great achievements that many of our athletes have obtained through the years, that I have never been more proud of a young man than I am of him right now in achieving this Eagle Award. As the pastor said, I never got to this height of the Scouts as well. And you have now done something far better than I have ever been able to do. And I think we are very proud of you. But beyond just the obtaining of the Eagle rank, I have a great deal of admiration for my son because he lives his life the way that an Eagle Scout should and the way a Christian young man would. You know, he told me many years ago that, Dad, I'm never going to swear, and I can't make this claim. He hasn't. He's had kids harass him at school and try and bug him and tease him to try and get him to lose his cool or lose his temper and to take the Lord's name in vain. And he has not. And he sticks by his ideals. He does a tremendous job of what he believes in. He sticks by it. He's not a phony. He believes in what he believes in. And to that, I think we all can look up to. As Pastor said, ideals and values are two things that we all look for in youth today. And there are so many people out there that have the right ideals and the right values, but sometimes they get led down the wrong track. Hopefully, this Eagle Scout will just be a way, or the Eagle Trail will just be a beginning of the trail that you get into your older life, Brent. Know that both your mother and I could not be more proud of our son.
Brent, at long last, I think it's your chance to share some comments. The floor is yours.
Where do I start? My trail to Eagle has been windy, curvy, up and down, but it all started at Many Point Scout Camp. I was even smaller than I am now, and I can remember our troop was, the older scouts were going to Virginia that year, so Steve wasn't able to make it to Many Point that year, and he brought us up there. And this is when we were first year scouts, my patrol, and he kind of gathered us all up, and he's like, all right guys, here's the deal. I would really like you guys all to be tenderfoot by the end of this week. And second class, you know, that would be very good, but if you guys could get first class, I would be very, very proud of you. And I heard that, and it must have done something, because anyone that was at Many Point that year would, if they were first class or higher, would hear, can you sign this off? Can you sign this off? Because I just totally, I don't know, I just got in a scouting craze, and I signed off how many requirements, I don't know, but I was first class by the end of the week, and it made Steve proud, I guess. So, but then I got first class, and I'm like, you know, this is kind of fun, I kind of like doing this. So I just kept going and going and going, and here I am, an Eagle Scout. I've heard so much about Eagle Scouts, you know, before I was a scout, just what they've done, what they have to do. And I'm just like, I was like, wow, I'll never get that high. Because I can remember sitting in the basement of St. Mary's for a scout breakfast and asking my dad, so am I a Boy Scout next year? He's like, no. Next year? No. Next year? No, not yet. Next year? No, and about 3 more of those. Yes, then you'll be a Boy Scout. So it was, I can always remember wanting to be a Boy Scout, wanting to be an Eagle Scout. Just, I didn't think I really could ever do it till I got that first class. I'm like, hey, I can do this. And I just did it. And along with this trail to Eagle, I've come across Philmont Scout Ranch, Many Point twice, Spelunky. Philmont to me was something that I can remember before going to Philmont thinking, how am I going to be able to do this? You know, I'm a little kid, how am I going to be able to survive Philmont? But I can still remember seeing the satisfaction of that sign, welcome back, you made it. Just thinking, whoa, I just hiked through those mountains for 12 days, dehydrated food. It was just something that was just unbelievable to me. I didn't even think I could do that. I mean, I knew I was going to survive, but I didn't really think I think it would be I just didn't think, I was in awe that I was able to do that. And then, I mean, this patch really does mean something to me, though. It means something that if I put my mind to it, I can do anything. That's along with this patch right here. I mean, people tell me I have that great quality. If I want something done, it's done. If I want it bad enough, it's done. And the scouting experience, if I went to join Boy Scouts, I don't know where I'd be right now, because there's been so many great things that I've done through Scouts. Made so many great friends. I mean, it's really hard to say. But what I'd really like to say in this is an Eagle Scout, to me, is anyone that has the determination to become an Eagle Scout. Any one of you can become an Eagle Scout if you have that determination within inside your heart. It takes a lot. There's many requirements. There's many things that you need to do, but it's possible. There's not one scout here that couldn't do that. There's not one scout in the world, I don't think, that couldn't be an Eagle Scout. If you have that determination, you will be an Eagle Scout. I guess I'd just like to finish with saying by one of my heroes, Michael Jordan. He said, it's not how hard you push along the way, it's whether you have that ability to finish. Thanks very much for coming to my Eagle Court of Honor.
Just about ready to adjourn this induction of this afternoon. We do have a reception, some cake and refreshments that we invite you to partake of. We will retire the colors. I think it's fitting to note that nationally, of every 100 scouts, Boy Scouts that enter the program, less than 2 out of that 100 ever attain the rank of Eagle Scout. Melrose itself, Brent now becomes the 8th Eagle Scout that Melrose has ever produced. So I think that's quite an accomplishment. We heard a lot this afternoon about pride, the pride that we have in Brent. And reminds me, and a story that I have to tell, it's a favorite family story. Once, many years ago, when Brent happened to tell me how proud he was of me for giving directions to a stranger on the street. Brent, I'd have to say that I know I speak for everyone here today, and we are certainly proud of you for establishing some very good directions for your peers and certainly everyone that knows you and will know you in the future. So with that, our sincere congratulations. I now declare this ceremony officially closed, and we will retire the colors.